Good morning from East Tennessee. It's Ryan.
And Brie.
And on today's adventure, we're heading over to Asheville, North Carolina. It's about an hour and a half away. We're excited to bring you guys inside Biltmore Estate. There are lots of spring flowers we're going to be checking out. We'll be going into the house and we're going to be checking out their brand new, how do you say his name, Brie?
King Tut.
I know, that's the common name, but like the official name.
I was going to have you look it up. Tutankhamun.
We are looking at how to pronounce the name of this ancient Egyptian pharaoh, who was the last of his royal family to rule during the end of the 18th dynasty during the New Kingdom of Egyptian history.
How do I say it?
How do you go about pronouncing his name?
Exactly.
Tutankhamun. You do want to stress on the third syllable?
Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun.
Tutankhamun.
Tutankhamun.
Tutankhamun. So they have a brand new exhibit. It'll be running throughout the entire year. So we're excited to head over to Biltmore. We were there for Christmas at Biltmore. It was beautiful with all the Christmas lights. So now we're excited to check out all of the beautiful spring flowers and again, tour the house and this brand new exhibit, which I'm very excited. They have 1,000 different replicas. You know what? We're gonna go with King Tut.
Tutankhamun.
Yeah, that guy. Got an hour and 25-minute drive from where we're at here in East Tennessee. So without further ado, let the adventure begin. So we're driving on I-40, which was impacted by the hurricane, but I can see them down below continuing to work. So even with only one lane, we're still moving along very well, and we'll be at Biltmore before we know it. So we have arrived over by the Biltmore. The gas station over here is back open. It was shut down when we were here for Christmas time.
Oh, McDonald's is still closed.
Yeah.
But looking a lot better than last time.
It does have a sign that says closed for remodeling. We got lots of flowers out in front of the entrance here.
And the Tutankhamun signs.
It's really nice to get here in the time that we have. I feel like I have the whole day ahead of us, whereas last time I felt like it took forever to get out here. So I'm super excited to go over to the house, to the new King Tut exhibit, and we're actually gonna stay at a hotel later tonight here on property.
Which is wonderful, so we can enjoy the village, maybe go check out the wine bar, see what else is open.
Last time we were here, it was Christmas time, so it was a little bit colder and not as green, and all these flowers that we're just starting to see. As we come up to where you would get your tickets if you don't already have them or if you needed to pick them up, we have ours already downloaded on my phone. So we can actually go right up here and have them scan our tickets.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we've made it to the parking lot for the house. So we just need to take a quick, short 8-minute walk. You are able to bring a small bag, but there's a number of things they ask you not to bring to Biltmore House. Nice little shaded path walking to the house from the parking lot. And we have arrived to the front of Biltmore House.
We're excited to go in and just have a look around.
Let's walk over by the fountain to work our way to the front entrance. Last time we were here, it was a lot colder. It is a beautiful spring day.
I don't think we could have asked for more perfect weather to be here, Ryan.
Oh, it's gorgeous. We'll actually be staying at one of the Biltmore hotels. We could utilize their shuttle service, which is a really nice thing.
We're pretty excited to be back here for spring at Biltmore. Last time we were here was Christmas, which was beautiful. But I'm really excited to go walk through the garden after we go through the house, just to see all the flowers in bloom.
And just a quick history before we go into the home. 1889 was when construction of Biltmore House began. It was 1895 that George Vanderbilt officially opens Biltmore to family and friends. So this house has been around for quite some time and it's been very well cared for. So we're gonna walk over to security real quick, go through to get to the front entrance. We're just gonna give you some highlights of the house. We're not gonna show you every single thing in every single room, but just some highlights before we head over to King Tut. Before we head into the front of the house, Brie went right down this path to some restrooms that they have. And over here is some different places to eat and do some shopping We'll try to look around there after we go into the house. So we're here a little bit past our reserved entry time. It's actually not too busy on this Monday afternoon in spring. So we have our tickets on Apple Wallet.
Oh, good. How are you?
Thank you. So when you come to Biltmore, you can get an audio guide in a number of different languages. They even have a kids audio guide version. So we've made it inside, and I think there's a live performer over here. So I love the live music. I love that she was playing Amazing Grace, one of my favorite songs, as we're walking through the winter garden here.
Which is actually quite springy right now and just beautiful. But listening to her play, it made me want to go get a flute and play the flute again because I used to play for many years. So I might be eyeing some flutes.
Let's head into the billiard room real quick, which I've always said this would be the room I would enjoy hanging out in the evening times. I mean, you would probably beat me in pool, but...
I don't know. You definitely give me a run for my money.
So as you walk through with an audio guide, it tells you all about the rooms, how they were used, and details about them. From the billiard room, this would be the place to have a Thanksgiving dinner or a spring formal dance.
It definitely looks different in here without all the Christmas trees, but very beautiful nonetheless.
Indeed, the Christmas trees are beautiful, but without them, this room looks even bigger and more grand. This fireplace is amazing. So you can walk through the banquet hall, listen to your audio guide, and learn about the different gatherings and meals that they'd have at this giant table. Let's continue on our tour. Pass by the musician.
Which they do have different musicians in here every day throughout the spring up until May 1st.
So let's head into the breakfast room real quick.
This is definitely my favorite room when it comes to the art that you'll see in the Biltmore house.
So I remember last time we were here, I think there's a kind of a hidden door. If you look real close, you can see it on the other side of this piece of art up on the wall. So I think the way that the servants would come in and out to serve breakfast here at Biltmore. From the breakfast room, let's move through the salon and continue on our first floor tour. Again, I'm not gonna go through every painting on the wall and every little detail. We can perhaps do that on a separate video. I want to get us over to the King Tut exhibition. But if Brie did end up picking up a flute, she could come over to the music room to practice. So you can stop in here and learn about all the music that was played inside Biltmore House. Let's walk through the tapestry gallery. You can see there's not too many people here on this particular day. I remember a lot more people during Christmas time. So Biltmore House has been used in a number of different Hollywood films, one of them being Richie Rich. And I do recall a scene in the library in that movie. From the library, walking through the tapestry gallery, they've got little treats out on the coffee table here and just different flower arrangements as we've been walking through the house.
Every time I come here, I think we should have afternoon tea every day. That would be lovely.
Ooh, sounds good. I'm telling you, I feel like I grew up with this exact camel in my house.
Really?
I think the flute player is playing It's a Small World. Hear it?
Yes.
So I'm telling you, it's not very crowded. It is a great day to be here at Biltmore House. So I think we're gonna walk up just a little bit in the next floor above. So we made it up to the second floor. And as I was saying before, there are all sorts of spring flower arrangements throughout the house right now.
I have to say, since we're here on this beautiful, bright, sunny spring day, there's so much light coming in that it's bringing just a new view of Mr. Vanderbilt's room here.
Just as you look around, every time we've come here, it seems like I notice something different. One thing I always notice is the length of the beds back in this time.
Definitely would be a little short for us today.
Yes, as we walk through the oak sitting room, again, there's just so many different rooms. We could make this video really long, showing you all there is to see here. So if you come up to the second floor, there are a few stairs. So there's so many pictures to look at and history to be read throughout this house. I think I really want to work our way down to the kitchen, the pool, and the bowling alley. It's actually really neat to walk through all the different rooms.
Hey Ryan, is that a call bell right by the tub?
I think it was. So this, again, might look like an older home to us, but at the time, it was the latest and greatest of technology for a home. So again, we're trying to work our way down to the kitchen, the pool, the bowling alley. This grand staircase is indeed very grand. And I will point out, if you're not able to do stairs, they do have an elevator. Here's a look at the elevator from the first floor, which again was part of the original home that they've continued to restore through the years. You can see that they've done reinforcements on the grand staircase through the years. So again, Biltmore House has definitely been very well taken care of. We've made it down to the stone corridor, which this would be the place to hang out on a warm spring or summer day. It is very cool down here. So we arrived down to the Halloween room, which has lots of old pictures of construction of Biltmore House that you can read all about. And the reason they call it the Halloween room is it was painted by George's daughter with lots of bats and cats for a New Year's Eve party. Which now we come to the bowling alley, which I'm sure they did some bowling at the New Year's Eve party. And along with bowling, they could come over here to some of these dressing rooms to do the next activity, which would be swimming in their indoor pool, which would have been heated. So you could come for a swim year round, even in cold climate here in North Carolina. So from the pool and gymnasium, we're working our way to the kitchen, which there are lots of different pantry rooms and servant areas. And we have our rotisserie kitchen and your main kitchen, which last time we were here, they had a replica of Biltmore House in the form of a gingerbread here.
My question is, who gets to eat that gingerbread house, or what do they do with it after Christmas?
It's a good question. Let's keep working on our tour. And now we've arrived to the room that every teenager dreads, the laundry room. So you can see all of the different technology that they used. So we've made it up to the smoking and gun room where you can turn in your audio guide. There's a lot we didn't show you. We just wanted to show you a few highlights as we went for a walk through the house. But we wanted to spend a little more time in the gardens, which you can see all the different flowers that are out today once you exit the house. So let's work our way over there. But before we head over to the gardens, I just want to show you they have this Biltmore dairy bar with some beverages and coffee over to the left. And they've got a bake shop. And then they have the courtyard market. If you want to pause the video and see what's on the menu, something smells really good. And if we go over here, you can see they have a banner out for where we're headed next. And if I take a right, they've got the toy makers shop, which if you come in here, they have a bunch of great fun toys for kids of all ages. And across from the toy maker shop, they have a Christmas pass, which has all sorts of different Christmas ornaments and decorations in here. You can come shop for year-round. And then you have the Stable Cafe, which was where all the horses used to be back in the day. They've converted it to a restaurant. So they have a pretty good size menu, and you're able to get a reservation and come in and eat where all the horses were. And on the other side, we have the confectionery, which has all sorts of chocolates and sweet treats that you can go shopping for in here. And next to that, you have the bookbinders shop, which has a number of books and unique gifts that you can shop for in here. And the largest store would be the Carriage House shop, which has lots of Biltmore shirts and mugs and merchandise. It even has a Biltmore Monopoly game, as well as lots of different puzzles and some kids stuffed animals over here. So lots that you can go shopping for either before or after you visit the house or the King Tut exhibition that we're headed to, along with all sorts of neat things for the home, lots of spring things out at the moment, but I think we should head out to the gardens. So we're now exiting the front of the house, and we're gonna head over to the gardens over here. I don't know exactly how many times we've been through the house. I wanna say at least a half dozen times, but I still feel like every time I've been, there's something different that I notice, or we go a different path, because it seems like we went through some rooms that I'm like, I don't ever remember seeing this particular room.
It's true. There's always something new to see there, even though it's an old house. You could go through there several times and find new things.
So let's go explore the gardens a little bit before we head over to King Tut. You see there are lots of benches and shade as we're walking out to the gardens if you need to stop, take a break. So we started to walk down to the gardens, and then we remembered, wait a second, we should just drive down there, because then we're gonna have to leave from there to go to the exhibits. So we're gonna show you where you can drive down to the gardens and park and bring you inside.
It's just so refreshing to be here in the spring. I mean, it's just beautiful. All the flowers in bloom, the trees are so green. It's just good for your soul.
Yeah, it's very relaxing. Grandma, thank you so much for watching the kids. We love our kids, but we also like this little quiet one-on-one time.
Yeah, we don't get too many overnighters.
So from the parking lot, we're gonna take a left here, head towards the gardens. We're passing by the front of the house. We're gonna actually drive through the gardens here.
These gardens are open year-round, but spring is definitely the time to come. You can see all the flowers are blooming. I see tulips. I see all kinds of beautiful flowers. And I bet if you walk down through there, you'd probably see some butterflies flying through as well.
So we're able to get a parking space down here by the Gardener's Place shop. I think we're gonna work up to the greenhouse to walk around a little bit. They call this the conservatory. It's open from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Brie, this is the cool house.
That's where I want to be.
Oh, yeah. I think we need a cool house like this so we could grow bananas at home. That would be nice.
That would be cool.
And we could grow some citrus, some oranges and lemons.
That would actually be very cool.
It would be nice to just kind of go for a stroll through your greenhouses in the evening. This is the giant conservatory greenhouse.
It feels good in here.
It does. Check out this flower little water display over here.
That's beautiful.
This is beautiful in here. We just drove by this area. Let's see if we can walk up these stairs real quick and get a little bit closer look. So it looks like we're at the beginning part of spring. There are, looks like, lots of different roses out here. I see a few of them blooming, but as the season goes on, this area will be gorgeous with lots and lots of different blooms. Okay, Brie, I'm glad we walked up here. I know we drove by. So look at all these tulips.
They're beautiful.
So I will say, out of all the different flowers, tulips are probably my personal favorite. So I love this little area up here. with the breeze. You can hear birds in the background. It is just a beautiful day here at Biltmore as we're walking back through the conservatory, working our way back to the car. This is the hot house, Brie.
Oh,
We started in the cool house, and it does feel a little bit warmer in here. We got a little fan up above, but my neighbor would love walking through here. He's always working on lots of flowers in his garden. And as we've made it out of the hot house, if you do need a cool drink, they've got the Conservatory Cafe over here with a couple drinks and snacks. But I think it's time to head down and visit
Tutankhamun.
that guy.
So if we weren't heading over to see Tutankhamun, we actually probably would walk down the azalea garden to the bass pond where you can actually see a waterfall, and there will be plenty of blooms and blossoms along the way. So we've been back in time to the Gilded Age, and now we're going to go back in time even farther to ancient Egypt. One thing that Biltmore does really well is they don't just keep the house up, but they really put a lot of time and effort into the grounds. As you can see, if you walk down any of the trails or through the gardens, there's beautiful flowers everywhere, beautiful trees everywhere. It's really quite majestic.
This is what Brie was talking about earlier, that you could have taken a walk to from where we were parked. I believe up here by this bridge is where they filmed a scene from Last of the Mohicans. As we talked about different films that have been made here at Biltmore Estate. Now as we're working our way to the exhibit, I did want to point out Biltmore has more than just a house to walk through. They've got hiking, biking, fishing, horseback riding. So there is definitely a lot to do on Biltmore Estate. So we've made it to the parking for Deer Park, which is where the exhibit is. So we're just following the signs to the front entrance. So this particular exhibit kicked off March 21st, and it runs through January 4th, 2026. So you have plenty of time to come out and see what we're going to give you some highlights of. So we've scanned our tickets, and I already see some neat things in the exhibit hall. Super excited to go check out. Here's where you pick up your audio guide, which comes in some different languages.
You can put these around your neck when you're ready. Fun today.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we got a photo spot right here, Brie. I think we should stop and grab a photo. Try to pay attention closer to the audio guide and share with you some things that we find as we walk around.
So here we have the Rosetta Stone.
The English learning program? Or that's where they got the name from, I bet.
That's where they got the name from.
Okay.
Exactly. So this was quite a significant find because for many years, over 1,000, no one could read Egyptian hieroglyphic. However, when they found this stone, they were able to translate it from the Greek. This is another type of hieroglyphic. But then they were able to finally understand Egyptian hieroglyphics.
So this is a replica. It's not the original, but they tried to make it as close to the original as they possibly can, as you can walk around and see a number of these artifacts. So you can see the different timelines up on the wall here. It reminds me of our old classical conversations curriculum and the song that the kids would sing. It's a homeschool curriculum we used to use. And over here, you can read and learn about these two gentlemen. Brie, who were they?
Howard Carter had a hunch that King Tutankhamun would be found in the Valley of the Kings. However, he didn't have any money or anything to excavate with, so Lord Carnarvon came in and funded their search. They spent 6 winters out there searching and digging. It was just too hot to be out there in the summer.
Got some different maps up here on this display going over the Valley of the Kings, exactly where his tomb was in accordance to other kings. And it talks about tomb raiders, which now I'm kind of wanting to go watch some Indiana Jones as we're walking around here.
So this statue was actually found about 20 years before they found the tomb of King Tutankhamun. So when they found this statue, they actually had the front name had been chiseled off
But what they didn't realize when they were trying to make this statue seem like it was someone else is that in those times they actually put the name on the back. And so when they got this statue out, they could see this was King Tutankhamun and not someone else. The pharaoh that actually took Tutankhamun's name off of the statue was Horemheb, and he seemed to want to erase Tutankhamun and all of his family history. And in fact, when he came into rule, he destroyed as much as he could about Tutankhamun, which means there's not as many artifacts and statues of Tutankhamun that we would like because he destroyed so many. But the interesting thing is he's the most well-known pharaoh and the most recognizable in the world today. So it just goes to show no matter how much you try to erase history, if God wants it to be known, it will be known. Sure, Tutankhamun reigned at the end of the 18th dynasty. It was definitely a difficult phase of social upheaval in Egypt that even today raises many questions for people who study this. His mother's name is still unknown.
Uncovering Biltmore's Egypt story. It says in the Biltmore House archives, there are watercolors painted by Lady Mary May.
She was an amateur Egyptologist who showed her interest and fascination with ancient cultures in her artwork. Here are some of her beautiful watercolors. Wow, our Abby would love these.
So if you're thinking to yourself, what does Biltmore have to do with Egypt? Well, they answer that here on the wall.
Lady Cecil used to go and cruise the Nile, which explains her interest in ancient culture and her desire to paint watercolor of that time.
So again, we've come to this next room where we can see all the different family connections and the different excavations that Biltmore has been tied to, and see some of these beautiful pieces of art on the wall. So there are some restrooms at this point in the tour if it's needed. We're going to hop in line to watch a 10-minute movie that starts about every 10 minutes. The theater, and we're going to watch a movie. Please silence your phones. The movie audio goes to your audio guide. So now that we've watched the movie, I have a better idea of the discovery of his tomb.
And now we're entering the tomb.
So the lighting is much darker. It kind of gives you a feel as though you have just uncovered what was within the tomb.
So when they entered the tomb, these are the things they would have found. And coming through this exhibition gives you that feel like you're going into the tomb.
So it gives you a look at the map of the different chambers. And they do have some original photos up on the wall here of what it was like when it was found. You can see some seats. So if you do need to sit down and take a break. And I will point out, as you're in this room, the audio is now running and follows along the different parts till we come to the coffin chamber over here, which the audio is almost on the coffin chamber. It might light up here any moment. There it is.
Once we had made a sufficiently large opening, we stood before a golden wall. This wall revealed itself to be a richly decorated shrine, gilded all over, and around it in the chamber there was just enough room to edge our way through. And there we discovered, under the remains of a darkly colored linen cloth, a wonderful gilded coffin.
Wow.
The first thing we did was lift out the gilded coffin using pulleys. We were extremely surprised by the enormous weight of the coffin. We laid thick planks on the sarcophagus so that we could place the coffin on them.
When they finally managed to lift off the lid, which was firmly stuck to the bottom half with resins, they found a third coffin.
It was made of solid gold. Never before had anyone been able to see such wonderfully crafted works of art as ours, which had been slumbering here for more than 3,000 years.
Now, if you're ready, we can move on to the second part of our exhibition, in which you can see and marvel at the most beautiful and important objects from the tomb.
So it definitely gives you a feel of what it was like to make the discovery of the tomb. As you hear the story and the room comes to life.
Really enjoyed that part. Just felt like you were there with them. Whoa.
It's a big, giant replica. Looks like there's a door over here. See what it looks like on the inside.
Howard Carter was finally ready to carefully open the wall from the antechamber to the next chamber. He directed an electric lamp into the room.
Barely a meter away from the door stood something that was blocking our entrance to the chamber. To all appearances, it was a wall of solid gold. This wall revealed itself as a richly decorated shrine, gilded over and over, and all around it, in the chamber, there was just enough room to edge our way through. The four walls of the chamber were decorated with frescoes.
In the narrow passageway between the outer shrine and the walls of the burial chamber, there were numerous objects that immediately drew Carter's attention. Most of them were objects with ritual functions, but some of them also came from everyday life in ancient Egypt. And here also laid one of the many wine jars that had been given to Tutankhamun to take into the afterlife.
In the innermost coffin lay the mummy of King Tutankhamun for more than 3,000 years. The head was covered with a golden mask.
So here's a visual of the different chambers. The largest to the left. And as they got to each chamber, it got smaller and smaller, all the way down to the sarcophagus. So there's lots of details around the wall. You can read about all of the different chambers that they discovered.
You can actually go see the original sarcophagus today in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
It's my understanding the reason they have all replicas is Egypt has held them tight. I think it's a great way to get people to come out to Egypt, so they don't really put a lot of these items out to other museums to loan. They all stay within Egypt. At least that's my understanding, and getting to Egypt might be difficult for some people. So seeing some of these replicas is really neat. Gives you a great visual of what some of these explorers found. So you're able to continue on the tour at your own pace. From here, there are a number of places you can stop and put in the audio guide number to learn about things such as this mask here. And we come to this last room, which has a number of different artifacts in here. Lots of information that you can stop and learn about, all sorts of different furniture. And there's so much to learn about Egyptian culture and religion and history all throughout the room. You're able to learn about the mummification process, what furniture they used to have, everyday pastimes, and ritual figures. Over here in the corner, they even have a CT scan of his mummy that was made back in 2005. They have some different staffs and scepters and ceremonial sickles and lots of different figures that you can read about and learn about. And they have this chair over here, which is a replica of his throne, which originally would have been made of wood covered with sheets of gold. I love this little chariot over here with the shield. It's all in sand, so very well done displays throughout this room that you can, again, go at your own pace, walk around, listen to the different audio portions. It tells you what number, and it will tell you all about what you're looking at. So again, you can hang in here as long as you'd like. Lots to listen to and read. We're going to go ahead and turn back in our audio guide. As we exit from where we came in, looks like they have a store over here. Got an Egyptian themed Biltmore shirt. They've also got a kids version. They've got some cute stuffed camels and I think some different scorpion candy. If you're brave enough to try one of those, you can.
No, thank you.
Looks like some other kids' toys and stuffed animals. Looks like some hoodies and some other shirts and books. Looks like some little puzzles and games. So come in here and do some shopping before or after you go into the exhibit. And they got these little Biltmore tombs that you can open up. It's got a little mummy inside. So now that we've made it outside the exhibit, I will tell you, I would be terrible if I was hired by the Pawn Stars guys to determine what's real and what is a replica, because that all seemed real to me.
Yeah.
So even though all the originals are in Egypt, if I never get a chance in my life to make it over to Egypt, I still was able to see so many things in a similar fashion. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. So a big thank you to Biltmore for having us go through Biltmore House and come over here to the new Tutankhamun exhibit. I really enjoyed it. What did you think, Brie?
I really enjoyed it, especially everything after the video. It was really neat to walk through, like you were discovering the tomb, and then to see all of the artifacts that were in there.
Again, there's so much that I didn't show you on the video, but just wanted to give you a couple highlights, give you a feel of what it's like to go through the different parts of this particular exhibit. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed coming with us over to Biltmore, getting some highlights of Biltmore House, and then making it over here to Tutankhamun. If you found this video helpful or enjoyable in any way, do us a big favor and simply like the video. But let us know down in the comments, is this something that you would like to visit? You have until January 4th, 2026 to make it over here. As we said before, it was really easy to get here from East Tennessee now that they've improved the roads. And we are now about to head over to stay at a Biltmore hotel. So that's gonna be in our next video. We'll show you what that's like. But if you made it this far, we thank God for you. Until next time, we'll see you on the next adventure. So I think I found a hat I've got to at least try on here.
Welcome to ancient Egypt.
Wait, I think you're in the tomb like this, right? You got your arms crossed. You're holding candy canes. I don't see any candy canes. Is it candy canes? What do they have? Staffs?
Where's your Egyptian dad joke?
Egyptian dad joke. I don't know. It's got to be something tied in with a mummy. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, dad, mummy.
You were raised.
Mummy.
You were raised right.
I was raised by my mummy.
You had a good mummy.
I had a good mummy.
Yes.
All right, hat's going off. Dad jokes are done.